Parashat Emor. Parashat Emor, like all the middle of Sefer Vayikra, speaks mainly about the idea of holiness, and its focus concentrate in three aspects of holiness. One is in man, like the Hasidut says, there is Ashan. What is Ashan? Ashan is smoke, but it means in this case, Olam Shana Nefesh. Olam mean place, word. Shana mean year, time. Nefesh means soul, person. So the holiness expressed in the world in three aspects. In place, like Eretz Israel, Beit HaMikdash, Kodesh HaKodeshim, there are levels of holiness. In time, so we have Shabbat, holidays, Yom Kippur, Rosh Chodesh, so it's expression of holiness on time, in time. And at Nefesh, Adam, man. So we have Am Israel, and we have Kohanim, and we have Kohen Gadol, so we have also levels on that. So we have these three aspects of holiness in time, place, and people, and man. And as we always say, there is a special combination of holiness that we read the last Shabbat. Yeah. It's Yom Kippur, which is a combination of the holiest person in the holiest place in the holiest time. So this is the highest expression of holiness. It's Yom Kippur. So in our parasha, Parashat Emor, it focuses more in the details. And so we start speaking about holiness per people. So we're speaking about the Kohanim, all the special laws of the Kohanim, how they maintaining the holiness through the special laws of they cannot be impurified, they cannot marry with any woman, they only specific, and another case, things that related to that. It doesn't speak so much about holiness on place, but it does speak about the prohibition to enter to Beit HaMikdash or to eat korbanot if you are not pure. So it's a little bit of that. But then the last part of the parasha is about the holiness on time. We have all the holidays in the last part of the parasha. After that, there is some other things, but this is mainly the focus of the parasha: holiness on time and holiness on people, Kohanim and the holidays. Now, inside the holidays, there are some notes about other things that are related to the time, and maybe the most extended one is what we are having in these days between Pesach and Shavuot. And it's mainly Sefirat HaOmer, but not only Sefirat HaOmer. Let's see some of the verses. It says, וידבר השם אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל אמרת אליהם, כי תבואו אל הארץ אשר אני נותן לכם, when you will arrive to the land that I will give you, so a little bit here we have the holiness in place, וקצרתם את קצירה, when you are arriving to the harvest time, and you are going to harvest your fields, והבאתם את עומר ראשית קצירכם אל הכהן, you should bring the first Omer. Omer is a measurement of harvest, of what? Volume. Yeah. So the first Omer that you are harvesting, you should bring to the Kohen. והניף את העומר לפני השם, לרצונכם, ממחרת השבת יניפנו הכהן. So you should make anafa. Anafa is lifting it, and do that in the day after Shabbat. What Shabbat? It doesn't say. And this caused a big discussion. What does it mean Shabbat? We will see that soon. So what we are talking here, it's basically Korban HaOmer. That means I will say now according to the halacha, in the day after Pesach, there is a harvesting of barley, and we are bringing that to the Beit HaMikdash. This is a korban, and together with that, there is a korban of lamb. ועשיתם ביום הנבחם את העומר כבש תמים בין שנתו לעולה להשם. So you're bringing another korban today, in this day. Now, there is another halacha, ולחם וקלי וחרמל, so bread and fried grains. Kali is when you're taking the grains. Roasted. What? Roasted grains. This is kali. When you're taking, they used to eat, Ethiopians eat something similar to that. They two grains and roasting it, yeah, and you eat it like that. It's very, very good, very nice. Not only wheat, but yeah, not only wheat. It's basically also
all kinds of grains.
Yeah, all kinds. I mean, it's like eating carbons today, right? It's a basic food. It can be very nutritious. ולחם וקלי וחרמל. חרמל, apparently, if I understand correctly, I'm not sure, but it's grain cooked with sugar or something sweet. I'm not sure about that, but it's different kind of bread. לא תאכלו עד עצם היום הזה. You're not allowed to eat until this day. So this is the law of what we call חדש. Meaning you are not allowed to eat from the new harvest until the day of Korban HaOmer, the hour of the Korban. Okay, so it's not allowed to eat. In Israel you can find, it says, ללא חשש חדש. So there is a discussion here in Chutz La'aretz, we have problem about that. It's not very clear from what time of the year we have the harvest. If it belongs to this year or to the former year. So if it was
יש כאלה שאוכלים פה קמח ישן.
Yeah, קמח ישן, meaning that it was under supervision, that it's from the harvest of last year, not of this year. So meaning it wasn't harvest before 16 of Nisan. That's what the mashgiach should make sure. It was after that. Okay. So this is the Korban HaOmer. It allows you to eat from any kind of grains that were harvested in this year. עד אביאכם את קורבן אלוהיכם, חוקת אלוהיכם בכל מושבותיכם. And then we have the mitzvah of ספירת העומר. וספרתם לכם ממחרת השבת, מיום אביאכם את עומר התנופה. So why we call that ספירת העומר? Because it's from the day we are bringing the Omer. The Omer that we said about the Korban. That's the reason it's called Sefirat HaOmer. And again, the phrase ממחרת השבת repeats again. You see that it's the same day after Shabbat that you do in the Korban HaOmer, you should start counting the days. 7 Shabbatot, 7 weeks. 7 שבתות תמימות תהיינה. עד ממחרת השבת השביעית יספרו 50 יום. So when you are counting these 49 days, in the day of 50 you have to bring another korban. מקרתם מנחה חדשה להשם. So it's another korban brought out of grains, of wheat. So the first one was barley, this one is wheat. ממושבותיכם תביאו לחם תנופה, 2 שני הסעודים, סולת תהיינה, חמץ תאכלו. It's the only korban, apart from korban תודה, that it's חמץ. Yeah, and it's called שתי הלחם. Okay, so from this korban, I didn't bring the verses after that. From this korban on, which is in Shavuot, it doesn't mention here Shavuot. Shavuot is mentioned only after that, and it doesn't call Shavuot. But from this day, it is allowed to use the new harvest for korbanot. We said from Korban HaOmer, you are allowed to eat yourself. It's called in the Gemara B'Medina, meaning in the rest of the world, you are allowed to eat from the new harvest after 16 of Nisan, after Korban HaOmer. To Beit HaMikdash, you are allowed to bring from the new harvest only after Korban Shtei HaLechem, which is in Shavuot. So we see that the Sefirat HaOmer is connect between Korban HaOmer to Korban Shtei HaLechem. And in between, we have the Sefirah. So we usually say we count in between Pesach and Shavuot. The Torah doesn't speak neither Pesach, neither Shavuot. It speaks about we are counting between Korban HaOmer and Mincha Chadasha. So we understand, but it's maybe the same idea. We say that in Sefirat HaOmer we are counting the days towards Kabbalat Torah, which the Torah doesn't say anything about that, but we understand it's some kind of elevation. So also Chachamim says, or explanation says that it's from Korban HaOmer to Korban Shtei HaLechem, it's also a process of elevation, right? Why? First of all, from secular eating to holy eating, right? We are eating, we said it's allowed to eat in the Medina, in the rest of the world, not holy, but to Beit HaMikdash you're still not allowed to bring. Until you elevate yourself, you're not allowed to bring to Beit HaMikdash from the new harvest. So the new harvest needs to pass a process of elevation until it can be brought to Beit HaMikdash. So this is a very similar idea to what we usually say. But apart also we say that the first korban is barley and the second korban is wheat. It's considered that barley was the animal food and the wheat was human food. I think that today we consider barley more healthy. I don't know if it's true or not, but yeah, it's more healthy.
Depends if you like gluten.
So barley is without gluten?
No, it has
It has gluten.
It has like
Barley.
dark stuff around it.
I can tell you for the name of my grandmother, Zichronah Livracha, that in the chamin, in the chulent, it's better barley than wheat. I don't know why, but she told me that. Yeah. Anyway, but it's considered ma'achal be'ema and ma'achal adam. So we are elevating ourselves from a level of be'ema to the level of human being. Okay, so this is the halachot that are related to this time in the Torah. It's the way it appears in the Torah. And there are several questions that, well, we're not going to discuss everything. The main question is, so what is Macharat Shabbat? What is the day after Shabbat? Rashi says, Mimacharat Yom Tov. After Yom Tov. So why it's called Shabbat? This is caused a big discussion in the time of the Second Temple between the Baitosim, Karaim, Tzdokim, and the Chachamim, the Purushim. The Chachamim say, Macharat Shabbat, meaning after the day after Pesach. The Tzdokim says, in Macharat Shabbat, is always after the Shabbat that is in Pesach. So if Pesach is, for example, Wednesday, so Shabbat, from the Shabbat after Wednesday, you start counting. According to that, Shavuot is not always 50 days after Pesach. It can be 55, 56, 53. It's always changed. The date of Shavuot changes all the time. And the days that are, and it always, Shavuot is always Sunday. So this is according to the Tzdokim. Also, after that, in the time of the Middle Age, the Karaim did the same. Karaim also did that. The Chachamim say, no, Shabbat is actually Yom Tov. So why it's called Shabbat? And how do you read that? So there are many answers in the Gemara to explain, to prove, but all of them are not very convincing, I tell you the truth. The main explanation is, this is our tradition. This is what we call Torah Shebe'al Peh. The Torah Shebe'al Peh, the spoken Torah, has the power to change the meaning of the words. Even though the words are in this way, for example, Gra bring in this context another halacha that we can see that. The Torah says that the Eved, the slave that is for 50 years, he should make in his ear, you should make a sign in his ear. It says, Eladeret o el mezuzah. He should be put to the door or to mezuzah. Mezuzah is the
doorpost.
What?
Doorpost.
Doorpost, right? This is mezuzah. We call mezuzah because it's on the door, but it's not the real meaning of the word. Okay? But even though the Torah say clearly, what? There is it says you have to put a pergament, not pergament, how do you say, cloth. Parchment. Parchment. The Torah doesn't say, "V'chtartam al mezuzot beitecha." You should write on the mezuzah and write the words of the Torah. The Torah doesn't say mezuzah, but we call it mezuzah because it's on the mezuzah. Okay. Anyway, so even though it says el adelet or el mezuzah, the Torah say very clearly or that, but the halacha is that only on the delet, not on the mezuzah. Or the opposite. I don't remember. I didn't have slave recently, so I don't remember how to do that. But what the Gra says that it's clearly against what the Torah says. The Torah say or that, and we say no, only that. Okay, there are many examples of that, of course, in different levels of clarity about how to change it. But we say the Torah Shebe'al Peh has the power to override the Torah Shebichtav. And the Torah Shebichtav is written in that way. There are many things that we can learn from that. There are things that are deeper meaning of the things, but we always would follow the Torah Shebe'al Peh and not the Torah Shebichtav, even if it's different from what it's written. But still, Chachamim try to explain. So let's see one explanation. It's interesting. I didn't notice that, but I read, I think Rav Samet, Rav Elchanan, or Yoel Samet, or Elchanan Samet, one of them. I don't know, Elchanan Samet, Rav Elchanan Samet, he said that it's interesting to see when you read the explanation in the Gemara, no one in the Gemara tried to explain that Shabbat is Pesach. All of them explain Shabbat is Shabbat, but still the halacha is that you should count from Pesach. For example, they said that it says here that Shabbat as an example. If the first day of Yom Tov is Shabbat, so you start after Shabbat. If it's a Monday, you start after Monday. It's just an example.
Was the first Pesach Shabbat?
No. It was Thursday, like this year.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there are different explanations. All of them understand the word Shabbat literally, and they say that even though it says Shabbat, we should start counting after Yom Tov. But if you look on the Mefarshim in the next generations, all of them try to explain why Shabbat is actually Yom Tov. When it says Shabbat, it means Yom Tov. And one of them is Malbim, explains quite well, I think. Again, it's not something convincing. If it's not for the Torah Sheba'al Peh, I wouldn't say that is the explanation. But after this is the Torah Sheba'al Peh, we can say, you know what, it sounds okay. Who says, V'shem Shabbat, what does it mean Shabbat? Why don't we say Shvi'i? We say Yom Rishon, Yom Sheni, Sundays, Monday, Shabbat. It's not from the word Sheva, it's from the word Lishbot. Lishbot is to rest. Shvita, stop working. Shvita today is, how do you say?
It's strike.
Strike, yeah. But Shvita in Hebrew, it's not, doesn't mean strike. Today we say strike, but Shvita means stop working. Shabbat ba al ההפסק ממלאכה, and naturally, נופל גם על יום טוב. So naturally, Shabbat is also for Yom Tov. We have a simple example, Shabbat Shabbaton, that says about Yom Kippur. It's not Shabbat, it's Yom Kippur, and it's called Shabbat Shabbaton. Why? Because you must stop working and even stop eating. So it's double Shabbat, Shabbat Shabbaton. So, first of all, the word Shabbat literally means a day that you don't work, which can include Yom Tov. ובעל הלשון שדרכו לייחד שמות לכל דבר. So the בעל הלשון, the one who has good language, for example, God. He knows how to express himself very, very accurately. So that the one who speaks accurately will have specific word for each things. יציין המועדים בשם חג או מועד. So when he speaks about holiday, he will say חג or moed. These are two words to say holiday, or בשמם הפרטי, in the specific name, פסח, שבועות, סוכות. ומחרת יום ראשון של פסח, but here, the problem with Pesach, it's called, if you want to say the day after Pesach, like we are doing, what word would you use? לא יכלו לציין בשם מחרת החג או המועד, ששם זה נופל על כל 7 ימי החג. Right? If you say after the Chag, all the 7 days of Pesach are Chag, or Moed, we say Moedim Lesimcha. So you cannot say after the Chag. ולא בשם מחרת הפסח. Now something very important. You know Chag Pesach, it's not what we call today Chag Pesach. If you look carefully in the Torah, Chag Pesach is 14 of Nisan, the day of Korban Pesach. So in all the Torah, when you see Pesach, Mimachorat Pesach, it says. We also, when you see Pesach, it means 14 afternoon, 14 of Nisan afternoon, when we are doing Korban Pesach. So it says, Pesach, ששם זה פירושו תמיד מחרת שחיטת הפסח, שהוא יום ט"ו. So if it would say מחרת הפסח, you would think that you start counting in 15, while we actually, so it doesn't have an appropriate word. What is the only word that can serve for that? לכן הוכרח לציינו בשם מחרת השבת. There's no other way to say other than saying Shabbat. Okay, so this is again explanation that can be accepted, but we still really rely on the tradition. That this is the reason we are doing Sefirat HaOmer after. Okay. The truth is that Aktav HaKabbalah speaks about other topic, and I will skip it now, even though it was very important. It speaks about what is the purpose of the Sefirah. And even though we talked about that many times, it speaks about the idea. It's not just counting the days. It's to look for the meaning of the things. Maybe if we have time in the end, we read about it better. But I will jump to the question that we are trying to answer, why it says Shabbat. So we explained, okay, this is one explanation, but let me a deeper explanation, some idea what is behind that of the Shem Shmuel. That it's something, I think the idea we already seen several times, but in this context, it's also important to understand. The basic idea is that Pesach, the first Pesach, gave you the first push. It was an enlightening moment when you get the energy and as a gift in a very high level, but then you have to start rebuild it for yourself. You need the first push from God, you get the spiritual energy, and then you have to start building it for yourself until you arrive to Shavuot. And he related that to Shabbat. Okay, we will see that. ובזה יש לפרש מאמר הכתוב. This is how we should explain what the verse says. וספרתם לכם ממחרת השבת. That you should start counting the day after Shabbat, שהכוונה יום טוב הראשון של פסח. That it really means first holiday of פסח. ולמה קרוא הכתוב בכאן שבת? Why is it called שבת? אך הנה אנו אומרים בספירה, we are saying about ספירת העומר, כדי שיתארו נפשות עמך ישראל מזוהמתם. We say, after ספירת העומר, there is a נוסח, a special prayer, in the נוסח אשכנז, that we are reading, that we are saying, for the merit of this ספירה, that and that and that. One of the things that we say is, for the merit of this ספירה, the souls of your nation, Am Israel, will be purified from its dirt, from its contaminations. Right. What is contamination that our souls have? What? Sins, or generally יצר הרע. ורש"י פירש זוהמה תגבור את היצר. The strength of our יצר. Meaning, so what are we praying? We are praying that for the merit of the tefillah, we won't have so much yetzer hara. It doesn't say here to purify from the sins. That's its important difference. It says from our instincts, from our desires. Meaning we said, Hashem, please help us to diminish a little bit. We don't want you to eliminate our desires. We need our desires. We need to survive. But we want you that it not be so strong. When the desire is too strong, it becomes zohama. The desire for itself, it's not bad. It's not zohama. It's not contamination. But when it's too strong, the tigboret hayetzer. The zohama is when it's the extra, the unnecessary strength of the yetzer. This is the zohama, the contamination. Meaning that what we are asking, והיינו, שישתנה בצד מה טבע הלב. That a little bit, that from one side, one aspect, will have change of the nature of our heart, שלא יתאווה כל כך לדברים שאינם ראויים. That it won't desire so much inappropriate things. וזה עניין ימי הספירה, הכנה לחג השבועות. This is the idea that the days of the counting of the Omer are preparation for חג השבועות, שבשעה שעמדו אבותינו על הר סיני, פסקו זוהמתן. The Gemara says, the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat says that when Am Yisrael stand in
At the bottom of
at the bottom of Mount Sinai, their zohama, contamination, stopped. What does it mean? That they weren't humans anymore? That they didn't have desires, they didn't want to eat, or other things that are related to the body? No. But the zohama, the extra yetzer hara was eliminated. And we are, what we are doing in the counting of Zohar, we are striving to arrive again to this level, to this like moment of הר סיני. וכל כך נתעורר מעניין זה בכל שנה ושנה, כשהגיע הזמן כנודע, וצריכים כל ישראל להיות כאיש אחד חברים, מכל שכן האדם עצמו שיהיו הגוף והנפש לאחדים וכנ"ל. So it says, what's happened in Mount Sinai, in this year, that of Yetziat Mitzrayim, happens every year, or at least there is an influence every year in the same time. As we always say, the holidays is the return of the same spiritual energy of the original. So in every day, every year in this date, we get again this push of energy. And so what energy do we have in the days of Sefirat HaOmer? The energy of overcoming our extra yetzer. That's what, or at least we should focus on that. This should be the main purpose. Yeah, I don't really understand the connection of this sentence to the rest of the idea, but it says I understand why it's true, but I know how it's in the process. It says, and this is a time when we have to be united. Like what we say that in Mount Sinai, Am Yisrael was united. How it is related to the Tigboret HaYetzer, to the strength of the Yetzer, I'm not sure. And he says for all Am Yisrael, but also the person himself. This is a little bit more connected. A person should be united, the body and soul. I mean, usually the body fighting against the soul, with the strength of the Yetzer, and the soul wants to strive to connect with Hashem, and the body strive to connect with the dirt, with the contamination, and there is a conflict. We should unite them. In these days, with the work of these days, to unite the guf and the nefesh, that both of them will serve Hashem. But the problem here is how to make the first step. All year long, we are synced into our desires, and we are already with this zoama, we have these contaminations in us. What will give us the first push to start walking? ומאין באים לפתוח פתח? How can we open the door, to open the entrance, לבוא להזדכך, to come and purify ourselves, כי כל עוד שהזוהמה שולטת, when the contamination, the זוהמה is controlling us, כמעט שאין בכוח האדם להתעורר מעצמו. It's unhuman. It's above the power of human being to awake himself, to overcome when he is totally inside the contamination. So this one we have יום טוב ראשון של פסח. אך יום טוב א' של פסח, זמן יציאתנו ממצרים. We have this power, we get this first push from Hashem in the first day of Pesach, when is the time of going out from Egypt. What does it mean going out from Egypt? Is going for freedom, freedom from the desires. ובזוהר הקדוש, ליציאת מצרים היה משער ה-50. So again, there is a 50 gates of impurity that Am Yisrael was in 49. And then we say that each day we are going one gate, right? Going out from the impurity and entering into the purity each day. But the Zohar says the first day we were already in the 50. We were already in the 50. It was totally gift. Hashem put us in the 50, and then let's read, okay. ליציאת מצרים היה משער ה-50. The יציאת מצרים was from the 50th, how do you say 50th? 50th gate. היינו, meaning, שאז האיר אור גדול. It was a great light, big light, משער ה-50, from the 50th gate. הוא עולם החירות, the world of freedom. ויצאו ישראל לחירות בגוף ובנפש. עם ישראל went out to freedom or became free in body and in soul. וכל מי שזוכה לבוא לשער הזה בקדושה, שוב אין לו ירידה ולא שינוי עולם, והוא יוצא מתוך ההפכה, ומצד זה נקרא יום טוב א' של פסח, שבת, שאנו אומרים בו קום יצאי מתוך ההפכה כנ"ל. It says anyone that has this light, he doesn't have, we will see, he cannot go down. So yeah, of course he can go down. We see that Am Yisrael went down. We'll see about that later. But it says someone that arrived to this level, he has this exit from the control, from the rule of the Yetzer Hara. Okay? And that's the reason that Yom Tov, the first Yom Tov of Pesach is called Shabbat. שאנו אומרים בו קום יצאי מתוך ההפכה. When we say קום יצאו מתוך ההפכה? לך דודי. Even though it's based on the verse in the prophets. But yeah, we say in Shabbat he has a power to take us out from the הפכה, from the mess, from the balagan. ומצד זה, and from this point, with this aspect, יכולים בני ישראל לפרוק ממנם, בצד מה, ממנם, מהם, it should be. So from this aspect, Am Yisrael can, in some aspect, to take from themselves, take away from themselves, לפרק. How do you say לפרק? When you are when something is cargo on a ship and you are
dismount,
take
it down,
take it away, dismount, לפרוק. To dismount from himself, in some aspect,
unload.
To unload. Yes, the yoke, right. The yoke of the contamination. And then to start counting day by day until they have the merit that the nature will be changing for the better. In the same like Shabbat Canal. And that's the reason that it's called here Shabbat, to show you what is the essence of his action, what it's actually doing. So I think I didn't see it here, but it's other place, maybe in Kedushat HaLevi. There were some paragraphs that say the same idea. They said, okay, so you have the first push, but everything that comes easy goes easy. Everything that comes as a gift, it's not something that's really sustainable. That's the reason you have this first push, but it's go away. If you're not start walking by yourself, you won't arrive anyway. Right? So this is the reason we have to start counting the days and go until Shavuot. Okay, so this is the basic idea of these days. I'm not sure we have enough time because I wanted to speak about what we are going to learn next. And I'm not sure if we have enough time. Maybe I'll just read a few sentences. It says, "Usfartem lachem." You should count for yourself. What does it mean for yourself? You should count. What is for yourself? And we show from many places in the Torah, Lech Lecha, about Abraham. Vesafra la, in the case of Nida. In other cases, when it says Lecha, meaning for your benefit. Okay? It says, so it's come to teach you that the counting of the days and the weeks, it's not only to mention the numbers, like the people think, but is the main idea of the counting is to examine the quality of the behavior of the person for all the details of his actions. Like, לך לך מארצך נאמר לאברהם, שאין לך עניין ההטבה לאברהם שעליו הכינוי. וכן בכל במקומות שיש מילת לך, עניין הצורך וההתאמה למי שאליו הכינוי. All the places when he says לך, it's to benefit you. Okay? By examining your behavior, all your things that you are doing, you are making the benefit for yourself. Okay? גשם חלף, הלך לו. He gives several examples. וכן כאן, also he וספרתם לכם, ירמוז במילת הכינוי לתועלת נפש האדם. It's alluding in this word לכם to the benefit of the soul of the human being ולטובתו, for his best, להתקדש ולהתאר ביותר בהמשך זמן שבעת השבועות האלה מכל תאוות הטבעיות ומחשבות הפחותות. Same as we say, it should purify himself and sanctify himself from all the natural desires and the low thought. כי גם במילה תספור, אין המכוון בו לבד לדעת כמות הימים והשבועות, אבל אינו כאן גם העיון והשגחה. So he brings also proof that the word לספור, to count, meaning to examine carefully the things. When you say, we got one example, it's Adai Tispor, it says that Hashem counting our steps. What does it mean, counting our steps? Supervising us. The providence of God is checking every step that we are doing. So it's not only counting the steps, meaning that Hashem is supervising, is examining our steps. Okay? He gives many examples for that. And then he says another explanation. I skip all of that. Another explanation is Sfartem milshon even sapir. What is even sapir? It's one of the diamonds that were in the Urim v'Tumim. Yeah, it's like a beautiful sapphire. Yeah, you say in English also sapphire, right? Sapphire. Yeah, so what does it mean, Sfartem? Make it pure and brilliant like a sapphire. You have the days. You make the days like sapphire, like livnat sapphire, etc. And he bring proof from the Bible that the word lispor, sometimes the verb is to make something brilliant. ויהיה טעם ספרתם לכם שבזמן הנבחר הזה תשגיחו ביותר על נפשכם להיות ספירים מתואר ומזוכח. In this chosen time, you should be very careful on your souls, that it would be clean, pure, and brilliant. מכל חלאת אבלי הזמן עם זוהמה הגשמית. כן, זה מצאתי בשם בעל מ"ק, מ"ק, who is it? I'm not sure. Okay, well, so this is also the same idea, but only how you count that. Okay, I will stop the recording here. And